It's been going viral recently with the trend of asking ChatGPT about yourself. Like, tell me something about myself that I might not know along those lines. And there's lots of cool stuff that come out of that. And as this has become more and more viral, I've dove deeper into it, right? I ignored it for a long time. I was like, I don't want to touch this. I did it. I was like, okay, this is cool. And it knows a lot about me, right? And I was like, that's intriguing. And it's also kind of weird. But so let's dive further into this and let's see, like, can it tell me my Myers-Briggs, for example? And it can. And then so we're looking at this chat that I have with ChatGPT here, where I asked it my Myers-Briggs. It very specifically says that I'm an INTJ, lays out reasons why it thinks that I'm an INTJ. And they're all pretty spot on reasons, right? But I've tested as an INTJ for 20 years. So it's accurate. And so while this is cool, the next level question that this should bring up is should we be giving companies access to this information? And then so it's important to note that ChatGPT is not an entity. It is a corporate asset of OpenAI. And then it's kind of like anthropomorphizing AI and LLM models to put them as anything different than that, or to classify them as anything different than that. But I myself am guilty of that flat out, right? There are things that I would tell ChatGPT that I wouldn't tell OpenAI. Like I wouldn't want to have a conversation with OpenAI with about, right? Like there's a distinction in my mind of ChatGPT from OpenAI, but how justified is that? And then how much should we be looking at and paying attention to those things? And then so let me kind of phrase this in a broader sense, right? And in a different way. So we have these different LLM manufacturers currently. We have ChatGPT owned by OpenAI, Claude owned by Anthropic, Gemini owned by Google, and Qwen owned by Tencent. And then so Chinese owned company. And then so within those, are there ones that you would preference or want to deal with or give information to or take information from more than others? And then to me, the inherent question is yes. I'm not going to dive into the specifics, right? I'll just leave it on that broad level. But do I trust every single one of those companies the same? No. And so not trusting every one of those companies the same should come down to all of the products that they produce. But it's, in a sense, we could be marching ourselves down a very bad road within this. As I make this video, recently another executive from OpenAI has resigned, and like they outlined in their resignation letter something very prominent, right? Which is that a lot of people think that just by building towards AGI or towards like this concept of AGI or, you know, whatever that nebulous concept is, that once we build it, then it's all of a sudden utopia. But there's nothing automatic to get us from point A to point B. Where we live in the status quo is billionaires living right next to homeless people. We have massive disparities within the status quo. And then when or if we get towards whatever we're terming as AGI in this instance, at least for a period of time, the prominent and really like only beneficiaries of it are going to be a select group of people. And then so within that, you're going to have inherent disparities. Disparities aren't going to get better than they are in the status quo. Even if we develop intelligence that is capable of solving those problems, because we are capable of solving a lot of these problems in the status quo, and intelligence doesn't seem to be the hindering issue. Kind of the bottom line, like the most simplistic way to break that down, right? Just breaking that down, real world, I don't think it takes a genius to understand that poverty, war, things like there's certain things that are bad, right? And I don't think like it's not like, oh, we didn't know that these things are bad, that there's bad things in the world. Like, so I don't think it's intelligence that is the root of these issues. And then so by bringing more intelligence into the world than currently exists, it doesn't inherently solve for the disparities within that. It only, in fact, increases the chances for disparities within that. And it's kind of important to look at and to examine these questions, right? Like Facebook before it was Facebook. This is your opportunity, right? Like, I mean, there's a famous interview with like Mark Zuckerberg when Facebook first came out and it was like first coming up. Like he's calling people idiots. Like people are idiots for just flat out giving over their data, right? Just like, here it is. Here's all of our data. And that's where we are in this universe currently with AI, good or bad. And we should examine and at least question whether or not that's good or bad. We're in a world right now where that's the status quo and it just is, and there's no question about it. I'm not saying that these things are inherently bad or inherently good. I'm saying that we should be asking these questions about these things that are going on around us as they go on around us and as they continue to go on around us more and more and more. This equation isn't going to go in the opposite direction, especially anytime soon. So it's more and more prominent and I think it's especially pertinent to ask these particular questions and to have these conversations. And to me, it starts with this, like, how comfortable are you with ChatGPT knowing this level of information about you? If ChatGPT knows this level of information about you, so does OpenAI, so does Google, so does Tencent, so does the US government, so does the Chinese government. Are these the aspects of this that you want? And then good or bad, again, just we should and we need to start having these conversations. So at this point, simply raising these questions and posing this topic. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.